This story is titled, My Girlfriend Told Me She Loves Me, but Isn't Sure If She Sees a Future with Me Anymore. I'm Daniel. I'm 37 years old. I've never been a man of grand gestures, and I don't believe in fairy tales, but I do believe in love. Real love. The kind that builds over time, through shared moments, morning coffees, lazy Sunday afternoons, and whispered dreams in the dark. That's the love I thought I had with Emily. Emily and I had been together for 5 years. 5 years of laughter, of inside jokes, of being each other's home. We lived in a cozy apartment just outside Chicago where the winters were brutal, but her presence always felt warm. We weren't perfect, but who is? That's why her words hit me like a freight train. We were sitting at our favorite Italian restaurant, the one where we had our first date. The candlelight flickered between us, casting soft shadows on her face. She wasn't eating, she was toying with her wine glass, eyes downcast. Then she looked at me, really looked at me, and she said it. I love you, Daniel, but I'm not sure if I see a future with us anymore. At first, I thought I misheard her. The restaurant noise, the clinking of silverware, the hum of distant conversations blurred in the background. What? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She took a deep breath as if steadying herself. I've been thinking about us, and I don't know if we're going in the same direction anymore. My heart pounded in my chest. But you love me, I said, grasping onto those words like a lifeline. You just said you love me. I do, she said softly, her eyes filled with something I couldn't quite place. Guilt? Sadness? Regret? But love isn't always enough. I felt the floor give way beneath me. How could love not be enough? Where is this coming from? I demanded, my voice cracking. We've been together for 5 years. We've talked about marriage, about kids. We have a life together, Emily. She looked away. I know. And why? She hesitated. And then she said something that made my stomach twist. There's someone else. My blood ran cold. The candle between us flickered, but I swear in that moment everything inside me went dark. The words barely registered at first. I stared at her, hoping I had misheard, hoping this was some kind of sick joke. But the way she bit her lip, the way her hands trembled slightly on the table, told me everything I needed to know. Someone else, I echoed, numb. She nodded, and something inside me shattered. Who? My voice was eerily calm, but inside a storm raged. She hesitated before answering. His name is Mark. We work together. Mark. The name sounded like poison on my tongue. I had never met him, but now he was suddenly the faceless figure standing between me and everything I thought was mine. How long? I asked, dreading the answer. A few months, she admitted. I felt sick. A few months. For months, I had been coming home to her, holding her, making her laugh while she was, what? Falling for someone else? Was she in love with him? Had she slept with him? I clenched my fists under the table, trying to steady myself. Did you cheat? The words felt foreign in my mouth, as if they weren't my own. Emily looked stricken. No, I swear, I haven't. But I have feelings for him, Daniel, and I can't ignore them. I let out a bitter laugh. So you're leaving me for him? She shook her head. It's not that simple. I don't know what I want yet, but I know I can't keep pretending everything is fine between us when I have these doubts. I stared at her, my heart pounding so loudly I could barely hear anything else. Doubts, I repeated. Emily, we've been together for 5 years. You don't just throw that away because of doubts. She looked pained. I don't want to hurt you. I almost laughed again. Well, you failed. Silence stretched between us. Then she reached for my hand, and I pulled away. She looked hurt, but I couldn't bring myself to care. I think I should go, I muttered, standing up. Daniel, please. But I was already walking away out of the restaurant, out into the cold February air. The wind bit at my skin, but I barely felt it. My mind was a blur. She loved me, but she wasn't sure if she saw a future with me anymore. And the worst part, I wasn't sure if I had a future without her. I walked aimlessly through the empty streets, my breath visible in the cold night air. The world felt distant, like I was watching my own life unfold from outside my body. Emily had been my everything, my constant, the person I built my life around. And now she was slipping away. Or had I already lost her? The thought made my chest tighten. She said she hadn't cheated. But emotionally, wasn't it the same thing? Had she been thinking about him when she kissed me? When we made love, I stopped in my tracks, feeling sick. I couldn't go home. Not yet. Our apartment, the place that once felt so warm, felt haunted now. Haunted by memories, by love that was slipping through my fingers like sand. So I did something I hadn't done in years. I called my best friend, Jason. He picked up on the second ring. Yo, Dan, what's up? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out at first. Then, in a broken voice, I said, "Emily's leaving me." There was silence on the other end. "Then, where are you?" "Downtown," I muttered. "Stay there. I'm coming." 15 minutes later, Jason pulled up to the curb and I got into his car. The second I sat down, he took one look at me and let out a low whistle. "Damn, man, you look like hell." "Feels worse," I muttered. "Tell me everything." So I did. The dinner. Her words. Mark. Jason listened quietly, gripping the steering wheel tighter with every detail. When I finished, he let out a sharp breath. "What the hell, man? 5 years and she suddenly decides she's not sure?" I ran a hand through my hair. "I don't know what to do, Jason. She says she loves me, but love isn't enough. What does that even mean?" Jason was quiet for a moment, then said, "It means she's already got one foot out the door. She just doesn't have the guts to slam it shut yet." His words hit me hard because deep down, I knew he was right. "Do you think she's going to leave me for him?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Jason sighed. "I don't know, man, but she's already entertaining the idea of life without you. That's bad enough." A lump formed in my throat. I wanted to believe this was just a phase, that she was confused, that we could fix this. But could we? Would I even want to, knowing there was another man in the picture? Jason pulled into a diner and parked. "Come on," he said. "You need coffee, or whiskey, or both." The next morning I went home. Walking into our apartment felt surreal. Everything looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. Emily was in the kitchen, her eyes red and puffy. "You didn't come home last night," she said softly. "Didn't feel like it was home anymore," I replied, my voice hollow. She flinched. "Daniel, are you in love with him?" I cut her off, needing to hear the truth. Her lips parted, but no words came out, and that silence told me everything. I felt something inside me snap. I had spent 5 years loving her, being there for her, planning a future with her, and she had fallen for someone else. Maybe she hadn't cheated physically, but emotionally. She had already left me. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "I deserve better than this, Emily." Tears welled in her eyes. I know. For the first time since this nightmare started, I wasn't begging her to stay. I wasn't asking why. I wasn't clinging to a love that was already gone. Instead, I grabbed my keys, looked her in the eye, and said the words I never thought I'd say. "I think you should go." And just like that, the love of my life became a stranger. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever been in a situation like this? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories like this. Your support means everything.